Welcome back to the final round of Matteo's Modern Monday Showdown. This is the finals, literally. It is literally the final match of the day. We'll be crowning our champion after this match, and we'll be doing so in a crazy mirror match, kind of, right?
Kind of. We have, on the one hand, Simon Nielsen, finalist in the last big SNC championship, with Glimpse Omnath Elementals against the more known version of Omnath.
Kind of the regular version, piloted by Viktor Bunzer. Both of which have shown an incredible show of talent.
Absolutely.
Over the day. Like, this has been 5 rounds of Swiss, followed by so far 2 rounds of the top 8. We've watched both of these players extensively, and the matches were intense, to say the least.
The semifinals, Viktor Bunzer, he played those games 2 and 3 masterfully, absolutely.
It was amazing. Like, it was a difficult matchup with Titan, and I think he managed to avoid every single Titan trigger, like, at least on camera, that is. So it was a wild day of stuff. Of matches. We've also seen Simon Nielsen combo of multiple times with the Omnath Glimpse version of, like, his version of the deck. So it's going to be a treat to see it one final time.
Simon is going to be on the play, so that is a big advantage here.
Yeah.
If he gets down early.
So can you walk us through what the differences between these builds are? Because when viewers at home hear, well, it's a 4-color Omnath deck, how different could it really be?
Well, first of all, one deck plays Yori and Sky Nomad, the other does not. The other one is a 60-card combo type of build. What Simon is trying to do is put a lot of permanents into play. He's playing Colony Garden, Wake Sifter, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, put a lot of permanents into play, Shardless Agent into a Glimpse of Tomorrow, and then turn his entire deck around, trigger Risen Reef, trigger Omnath, trigger, make a bunch of life, draw a bunch of cards, damage the opponent, and then do it again with another Glimpse, Glimpse. And he's turning more and more permanents into play, and at some point, I mean, he can kill on turn 3. If he goes Colony Garden into Wake Sifter into Shardless Agent, he can kill on turn 3
because the combo just keeps on going, right? How does that work with generating mana?
You generate mana with Omnath. That is the one you generate mana with Omnath. You generate card advantage with Risen Reef, and that's how you loop. And you have a bunch of elementals in your deck that trigger the Risen Reef, and you just, if you're lucky, if you hit well, you just go bigger and bigger and bigger every time you glimpse again. With Endurance, you can shuffle your glimpses back into your deck from the graveyard, and then Shardless Agent them back and go infinite.
So the deck actually goes infinite by shuffling back its own graveyard. That's how far you have to go.
It is pretty crazy, but to be fair, it can also just go the fair route. It can also just play elemental.
And we saw that earlier when Eli Loveman versus Simon Nielsen in that match. Eli respected the combo a lot and, like, shut down the combo, and instead Simon just played a fair 4-color game. Like, and that's the power of cards like Omnath. That's the power of cards like Solitude. All those evoke elementals, you know them by now.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the feature match area here between our 2 finalists, Viktor Bunzer and Simon Nielsen, to determine the winner of today.
Let's go. Let's do this.
All right. As you said, Simon on the play, that of course majorly affects the way that Viktor can interact with Simon's board, because that's what it's all about, right? Keep Simon's board small.
Yes, that is true. Dress Down is an excellent piece of interaction.
Yeah, we know that Viktor is running one of those in the main deck.
All right. That is an out to draw.
But as it stands, both players just making land drops so far.
No Colony Garden on turn 1. A little disappointing for Simon.
Do we see a Wave Sifter on turn 2? We'll certainly see a play here on turn 2 as Simon is reaching for his deck. Going down to what looks like
16 life?
No, it must be 15, right? I'm not certain.
He fetched in the end step, down to 19, now to 16. Right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know there was a second. And that is indeed a wave sifter. So now that makes for 4 total permanents in play on Simon's side of the board on turn 2.
Yep. What is, I mean, I must say, how does the Yorion play interact? I guess they have Counterspell, right?
Counterspell as well as Teferi. Once Viktor can build up a board and protect the Teferi, it's not looking good for Simon, is it? Like
this Cascade is shut off by the Teferi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teferi's static ability preventing spells to be cast at instant speed, other than sorcery speed, and it turns out cascading is not sorcery speed. So yeah, with the Teferi in play, your opponent cannot cast spells off of Cascade. But right now, I mean, it's easier said than done sticking a Teferi in play. Because, I mean, Simon does have access to tools such as Fury, Omnath. Like, he can just attack Teferi with creatures. So for Viktor, it has to be building a resilient, the answer has to be building a resilient board with a Teferi to back it up, right?
To protect the Teferi. And Simon is on play here. He could even just go for it on turn 3 if he wants to.
Would you like to go for it with 5 permanents?
I'm not an expert at this deck, but Simon told me off match that he actually did win with just 5 permanents. So it is possible.
All right, yeah. Once you hit an Omnath and like a Risen Reef, things really get out of control.
Yeah, if you hit those, you have to get really lucky, to be fair. I think he wants to build up. Wow.
That's called controlling the board, Arne.
That is, I don't know about that. Really, that's the line of play you choose. We see Viktor with a Dress Down. Nice.
Yeah, Dress Down already lingering in hand is huge.
Wow, just blowing up these clues.
With the Dress Down in hand, you can almost rest assuredly that, you're gonna probably
You have an expressive duration to gain up on the last card advantage there. Basically, Wave Sifter 2-for-1ing Viktor. But, keep the board small against the Glimpse deck is a pretty good idea. So I kind of like it play.
So the thing that Simon really wants now is a Risen Reef, because that's a way to build up the board again.
I think I saw another good one. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That is a perfect card to rebuild here.
Yeah, that's one of those cards that has entered the format with Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty, and it has made a huge splash in multiple formats.
Tell me about it. I'm playing Explorer, I'm playing Standard a lot. I'm playing the card in both formats. It is incredible.
The card is an absolute house. It starts you out with a 2/2 Goblin token that creates a treasure token whenever attacking. And it continues looting on its second phase. And then on its third phase, it transforms into a 2/2 that can copy other creatures, kind of like Hiki-Jiki himself. But most importantly, I think for Simon's deck, is the first token that generates treasures on attacking. That's 1 added permanent per attack. And Fable of the Mirror Breaker itself is a permanent too. So the card just generates an enormous amount of permanents on the board, right?
Absolutely. Here we see probably Expressive Duration, because Viktor does not seem to have a land. And he has another Prismatic Ending. So hopefully he hits a white source. He does. So he can Prismatic Ending in Goblin. That's important.
Yeah, these Prismatic Endings generating a lot of card disadvantage for Viktor this game, but it is what he has to do to stay alive, because otherwise those tokens are just going to be too much board presence to be turned into useful cards by a Glimpse of Tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I think for Viktor, he's fine to 2-for-1 himself a little bit here and there, because he just wants to get to the late stage of the game. He has then the cards that catch him back up, right? Expressive Duration, Omnath. He can get Yorion to hand. Ren in 7. Not 7. I always say 7. Ren in 6 will gain him card advantage. So he just needs to survive the early game. Don't let this gate out of hand. And as you can see, Prismatic Ending will take care of this Goblin.
Yeah, Simon already appreciating that. 3rd Prismatic Ending this game.
Yeah, this is turning out interesting. Simon does have more Fable of the Mirror Breakers in hand, so he might be just happy with this.
Yeah, and I think what Viktor really has to build up to is like a counter spell or a Teferi sticking, because you can remove as many permanents as you would like. Simon will still make 1 land drop per turn, and a Fable of the Mirror Breaker adds 2 things that you just removed 1 of. So like Simon is building permanents if you want it or not.
Yeah, there's another Fable. And the Kiki later on is also pretty good. You can copy Fury, you can copy Risen Reef,
especially you can copy these even off of the Evoke. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep, and then you get to keep the copy. Oh my god, that's disgusting.
I mean, you don't get to keep it.
Well,
forever, right?
you can attack.
Yeah, you can attack
like
with
Fury is 6 damage.
Yeah, Fury, evoking a Fury and attacking for 6 does feel like cheating.
Kill that.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Deal 8 damage to your board. Attack for 6.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that the flipped creature, the Mirror Breaker, does not have haste. So Simon will have to wait for another turn.
Yeah.
Before starting to copy stuff. And I'm certain that Viktor, seeing that happen, will keep up the dress down next turn. For now, Viktor playing a Wrenn and 6, getting back a Windswept Teeth? Nope, something else. Flooded Strand.
Sitting in hand, a counterspell is Solitude, a dress down. Alright, Fable.
Oh, with that counterspell sitting in hand, that's actually very solid against the Glimpse, right? Like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now Simon can loot again, right?
Yeah.
Did he already do that? I guess he did, because there's Fables in the graveyard.
The second Fable, he is deciding to loot, I think. That's what he's thinking.
Okay,
right now.
yeah.
He drew a Misty Rainforest, I believe, and has now the choice. Yeah, recycling his hand. That's interesting. I mean, his hand looks pretty decent. I mean, I'm tempted to just keep them, honestly, but he decides to get rid of the Endurance.
1 Endurance down.
Cavern against the counterspell. That is a big one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cavern can't prevent the Glimpse from getting countered.
That is true. But, I mean, look at this board. Simon might just go to Fairway.
Yeah, Simon might just go with the fairway of playing Omnath. But first things first, let's attack down Wrenn and 6, create a treasure token.
Yeah.
And then now Simon is in an awkward spot. Either he plays the Cavern of Souls first, or he goes for the Omnath first. Both have advantages, but he decides not to even care about Omnath. Instead, casting Fury as a hard cast. Uncounterable, probably, directing all 4 damage at Wrenn 6.
Yeah, a little bit of a misstep, perhaps. Not playing the Fury pre-combat and then killing the Wrenn 7.
I feel like that was bait. The attack was bait to get Viktor to use a spell, to use mana on the Goblin, so then Simon could safely go for something. I'm not sure if I'm right about that. Maybe it was just a misstep, but I feel like the 2 damage at Viktor is not that important to Simon, and he would much rather have Viktor spend mana to protect his Wrenn and 6.
That is a fair point. Looks like Viktor has a response. Counterspell would not be the appropriate response.
Nope.
We wouldn't want to see that, but dress down.
Very much the appropriate response.
Absolutely. What a card, honestly. There's so many different things against so many different decks. May it be Death Shadow, may it be Territorial Carver. We saw Territorial Carver being removed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
When Dress Down shines, it really shines. Like, that card is amazing as soon as it gets the work done. But right now, Viktor is heading into his 5th turn of the game, trying to find an answer to Simon's board state, because that board state has kind of spiraled out of control.
Are there any Supreme Verdict in Viktor's deck?
I don't think so, but we can check, and you can check at home too. Simply head to Cardmarket Insight, and the most recent article will contain all the top 16 deck lists for your enjoyment. And as we see, there's not a single Supreme Verdict in the main deck. There are 2 hiding in the sideboard.
All right. I'm sure they're going to come in for the
Yeah, they're going to find their way in for the post-board games, maybe. Stuff like that.
Viktor has an interesting list too. 4 Traverse to Oldenbolt and 4 Unholy Heat. That is unusual for a 4-color Omnath deck. And it's also playing a 1 copy of Emrakul.
Yeah, that one's spicy. Emrakul, the Promised End.
Yeah.
Oh, Toffel is a big fan of that card.
Yes. Used that one to great effect. At his Mythic Championship win with Tron.
Viktor making his 5th land drop and now is left with a bunch of options. There is the option to hardcast Solitude, but that doesn't feel efficient enough to take over the board, does it?
Not really. He could let the Kiki survive and just kill the Fury, then the Kiki doesn't have anything like too good to copy.
Yeah,
right
you could
now.
also do that in response. However, I don't think Simon will go for the proactive copy my Fury play when your opponent has 5 mana up.
No. I think Viktor has to do something right now here. And I think you really have to get rid of the Kiki, a reflection of
The Mirror Breaker.
But yeah, because there's so many things in Simon's deck, especially Risen Reef, that are just, can't let that happen. Viktor is deep in the tank here.
I mean, it is a very tricky situation. It might even be the turning point for this game because for the past few turns, the things that Simon has done weren't that threatening, but now it's really getting to the point where, on board, there is lethal. Yeah. Like, of course, that would involve Viktor doing absolutely nothing, but Reflection of the Mirror Breaker copying Fury would present 12 damage. In addition to the Goblin token, that would be 14 damage, and Viktor is only at 11 life right now. So Viktor does go for the hard cast Solitude targeting Fury.
He bites into Sour Apple, and now he's hoping with this play that Simon won't have a great creature to copy.
Yeah, and we know that there's an Omnath hiding around, so at least there will be some card drawing. Also Omnath 4 power. That was a Risen Reef, Arne.
I just saw that too.
What does that mean?
And Simon has a Misty Rainforest as his last land, so this is gonna be a spicy turn.
So how does he sequence this?
I believe he will play the Omnath first. Yes, you won't get the value of getting the Risen Reef Omnath also trigger, but you want to get onto the board here. There's no Supreme Verdict in the opposing deck. Get onto the board and overwhelm Viktor. Those Risen Reefs gonna draw a lot of cards. Yeah. Although, maybe? No, I think that's what you gotta do.
A live looking at Arne Huschenbett's brain trying to decide the sequence between Omnath and Risen Reef. Simon going for Omnath first, cracking that Misty Rainforest will give him access to 4 additional mana, which he can then use to cast a Risen Reef, and not only that, he can also copy said Risen Reef if he wants to. Alternatively, he can copy the Omnath, which...
that doesn't work. It's non-legendary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is. I think what Simon, if you want to go really deep here, so Simon will have 6 mana here, currently, 4 mana floating.
Yeah, 4 mana floating, 2 untapped lands.
Then copies it, and then he has 2 mana left. Oh yeah, this is perfect actually. So the Goblin attacking will give him a 3rd mana, and if he finds Glimpse...
There's still a treasure token remaining at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, there's a treasure, okay.
So
he has plenty of mana then.
Yeah, any Cascade spell off this Risen Reef will do it, and he has 3 draws. Oh, first draw step! He had 3 draw steps, he only needed 1.
It's too easy.
It is too easy, Nielsen. And now, come on. Copy that token, copy that Risen Reef, Simon. Get some permanents onto the board and spin the wheel.
Oh my god, this is gonna get disgusting. And I'm all here for it.
Yeah, we really are. Copy the Risen Reef.
What he can even do here, he can copy his own reflection of Kiki-Jiki to get more, because that has haste, and then he can copy the Risen Reef.
But that spends mana.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I think he will get so many untapped lands with the Glimpse that might just be worth it,
He decides to copy the Risen Reef, getting a trigger, getting another trigger.
No lands.
No lands. How unlucky.
So now, yeah.
I think between Violent Outburst and Shardless Agent, he will go for Shardless Agent, unless he has the mana to evoke the Sift. What is it?
The Wave Sifter.
Wave Sifter. Because Violent Outburst being an instant has the nice utility that you can evoke creatures, and in response to their evoke triggers, cast Violent Outburst, shuffle them into your library, and replace them with full, new permanents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Simon now also has a kind of weird sequencing going on between attacking, getting treasure tokens, casting violent outburst, and the likes. Because combat could favor him. I don't know.
Well, he only has 2 possible attackers. That's the Goblin and the 1/1 Risen Reef, and he's just thinking how he wants to attack. The Goblin is gonna get in because it makes a treasure. So
yeah, it's just another permanent, right?
It gets traded away, but it still gets another permanent. So he's not losing out on a permanent.
He could also just violent outburst before blockers. Just, create another treasure, then shuffle everything away instantly.
Absolutely.
Just for 1 more permanent.
Yes.
And I think right now Simon's trying to decide, all right, how do I get the most value out of this? Do I save up the instant speed cascade? What do I do?
Interesting.
Wait, this leaves him with too little mana to cascade this turn, right?
Yes. Okay. What is Simon about to do here?
All right, so now what's going on now is every elemental that he evokes will get him 2 additional draws, right, off the Risen Reefs. But there won't be any glimpse going on this turn. I don't think so. He has already made his land drop, I think.
Yes.
And so...
Yeah, Simon just deciding not to go for the Violent Outburst. Which...
Yeah, all right. Viktor has seen enough. Simon was deep in the tank just about how to generate the most value, but every single evoked elemental there drawing 2 cards was too much for Viktor, and so Viktor decides to move on to game 2. Yeah. And while they do that, we will take a look at their deck lists. Starting with Simon, we have 2 Subtlety, 4 Mystical Disputes, 2 Foundation Breakers, or 3, 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Bone Crusher Giant, and 2 Dead Gone. Is that correct? Something along those lines. Which of those cards are attractive in that matchup? What do you think?
I mean, I must say I'm not really convinced I love any of these.
Maybe a Subtlety to prevent the board creation by Viktor?
The Solitude, and I'm honestly looking at these cards. Look, Simon could just stay on, play the same 60 again.
Yeah, okay, so just presenting the same 60?
Yeah, absolutely. He has the grindy game 1 plan. He has the endurances already in game 1, which are excellent against this Traverse the Oldenwald, Unholy Heat build that Viktor is bringing here. So I'm not quite sure. You could convince me on the Mystical Dispute, I guess.
All right.
Some good targets in this matchup.
So how about Viktor? What about him? He's got 1 Engineered Explosives, 2 Force of Vigor, 2 Supreme Verdict. Oh, Simon is as nice and is showing us what he's boarding. Yeah, you can see that he's boarding 2 Subtleties and 3 Mystical Disputes.
Okay.
Very nice of Simon, learning something from recording the feature match in the Cardmarket studio. So we know exactly what Simon is up to. Back to Viktor's sideboard. What do you think? The Supreme Verdict? Probably a good inclusion, right?
Oh, absolutely. I love that one.
Engineered Explosives also great against all the token shenanigans going on.
Yeah. Engineered Explosives against the token shenanigans. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That is a smart one.
Apart from that, maybe not too much to switch out.
Yeah, the additional copy of Dress Down.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. We shouldn't forget about that one. That also won the semifinals. If you go back and watch that one, that's amazing. But before we get into game 2, we want to take it back to the booth for 1 second, because we do have I don't want to call it a special announcement, but it is something special that we're announcing. Okay. As Cardmarket, you know the Cardmarket feature match on YouTube. Arne has played in it, I've played in it, lots of other people have played in it, Simon has played in it, you will see those episodes very soon. But we're expanding that kind of thing, and moving forward, we will regularly live stream that recording, right? We'll bring you live coverage of paper gameplay, which will then later on be edited into like a full-blown gameplay episode as you know it. So if you're a fan of the gameplay itself, just stick to YouTube. You can enjoy the videos as they are, but if you like to watch that live, kind of get the live feeling, interact with us, stuff like that, then go ahead and follow us right here on Twitch, because starting next Tuesday, so not this Tuesday coming up in 2 days, but instead the Tuesday in 9 days, we'll be recording the first episode of that. And by recording, I mean streaming.
Yes. And funnily enough, or coincidentally, Viktor is going to be one of the players in that feature match. And Viktor is playing against Felix, and sometimes Felix or Viktor will be
facing off against other pros. Right?
Yes, pros coming, Andrea, Torolf, maybe me sometimes too. And it's going to be exciting. I highly recommend checking it out.
And I mean, once again, if you don't want to miss it, go ahead and follow us right here on Twitch. And if you don't want to miss the episode going live on YouTube after, because we understand you can't catch every stream, it's ridiculous. You do have other things to do. Then go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube, Cardmarket Magic. You can already watch all the old episodes of the feature match. There's a bunch of Arne, there's a bunch of Jamin already on the channel. Also a bunch of Tarolf, Andrea Mangucci, Simon Nielsen. We had so many awesome people in that. And now we get to watch some of them play in the finals right here. So let's take it back to our feature match, down to the battlefield. Simon also showed us what he was boarding out. It was a mix of fury and violent outbursts. I wasn't sure about the others. I think some
fury. He took out I think 1 or 2 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Yeah, and I think at least 1 sifter, wave sifter.
Yeah, he's a combo deck. He's like shaving parts here and little there. He doesn't want to have too many non-permanents in his deck, because that is a non-bow with the glimpse. If you hit a non-permanent with the glimpse, it will just go back into your deck. So it's basically card disadvantage in a way.
Yeah, boarding in these mystical disputes is really costly, isn't it? But at least Simon gets to board out some amount of violent outbursts as a trade-off, because that way you keep the amount of spells in your deck somewhat consistent.
He's less combo oriented because he's aware of all the interaction Viktor is bringing to the table, and he wants to have those mystic disputes for the Teferis, for the counter spells, even for expressive duration, or Yorion and Omnath. I mean, there's lots of good targets for that. So perhaps what I would like to maybe see from Simon is that he goes lower on those interactive spells when he's on the play, because when he's on the play, he has that advantage and he wants to be more combo-oriented and don't draw... there's less necessity of interacting with your opponent when your own game plan is strong enough to get ahead in the game and win the game.
Yeah, that's a very good, very valid, and very important point. At times, your sideboard just stays static, right? On the play or in the draw, it doesn't matter. But in some matchups, the dynamics really change.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be... It happens sometimes. You want to have Thoughtseize on the draw, because then you really take the opponent's hand apart when they already have a card less, and you really... But if you're on the play, a Thoughtseize on them is not that good, because they have more cards than you. You're just taking one. It's not...
Yeah, trading 1 for 1 is more effective when you're on the draw, because you're the one up an extra card. So cards like Thoughtseize really good there. So definitely keep that in mind when sideboarding, right? Because it might matter a lot whether you're on the draw or on the play. But don't make that your absolute only rule, because this will not apply for every match.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, keep the Thoughtseize in. It's a good card. Keep it in. Most times, keep it in. Yeah. So both players are keeping their opening 7?
Yeah, it looks like it. So we're off to the races already. We see an Omnath and a Risen Reef in Simon's hand, accompanied by another Omnath and some lands. As for Viktor, I can't quite tell yet.
There's a fancy... What is that? A Stomping Ground? Temple Garden? Maybe it's a Temple Garden.
I think it's a Temple Garden. It's not a Stomping Ground. Stomping Ground is
more reddish. It's probably a Temple Garden, yeah. It's not a breeding pool, is it? Maybe?
No.
Who knows? Now it's Mana Confluence without a downside, so it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe someone in chat can tell. I think it is a Temple Garden, yeah.
Can we tell what Viktor just drew?
No. Viktor is keeping his cards close to the chest. Simon has 4 lands, Risen Reef, Omnath. in hand. Not the best hand ever.
All right. Victor on the play makes such a big difference here. It's crazy, because suddenly Victor is the one that could build up his own board or effectively interact with Simon's board early.
Yeah.
Where last game it was like Simon just running away building a board and Victor kind of trying to keep up, trying to play catch up with Simon's board.
Absolutely. The planeswalkers out of 4 color are so much better when you're on the play.
Yeah. Turn 3 Teferi is not a turn 3 Teferi. Like they're not always the same. Turn 3 Teferi on the play is very different.
Absolutely. But Victor seems to have a reactive hand himself with Prismatic Ending. I saw a dress down. He's just chilling. Which I gotta say is not necessarily the place where you want to be.
Yeah,
you kind of want to have a proactive element.
Yeah, in the long game, at some point Simon is going to execute his combo unless you build up a very solid board, right?
Yeah, Simon with those Risen Reef has this engine and Fable as well, and then the glimpses. I think the long game is not necessarily favored for Viktor if he doesn't have his engines online. But we'll see.
Right now, both players just playing the draw-go game, but I'm assuming we'll see some action at the very least, starting next turn by Simon, deploying a Fable of the Mirror Breaker that he has in hand, or that Risen Reef that has been lingering there for a while. From Victor's side, if he doesn't play something here, is it just like, what's his game plan here?
He has a removal-heavy hand here, I assume. Maybe he hasn't... I don't know. I don't know what he's at. He's keeping his hand close to the chest. I think this is good for the play on the draw, what's happening here.
Yeah.
Because Simon has a card more, and this slow game favors the player who has more cards.
It does, and Risen Reef certainly contributing to that. Like,
look at Simon's hand. There's so many 2-for-1s. Your Prismatic Ending, your spot removal will only be so good against Fable, Omnath, and Risen Reef.
Yeah, exactly. But all of those generating card advantage on the way. Now, of course, the ideal scenario for Simon here would be if that Risen Reef hits a land.
It does. It's a fetch land too. Simon was just like, slam that to the board.
Yeah, and that I mean, now Simon was effectively on the play when it comes to mana count, right? Ramping that.
Yeah, and he still is up on cards, and his Risen Reef is down on the battlefield now, producing potential more card advantage.
Certainly is, but given that you just said Victor does have a reactive hand going on, I assume that Risen Reef is not here for long.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
That's true. But on the other hand, are you feeling great at killing that Risen Reef?
Probably not. Especially not if your answer is not a Renin 6. It probably isn't, given that there's no Renin 6 on the board. Like, you would have deployed that on an earlier turn.
Absolutely. Ice Fang Coatl is... it's like a mini Risen Reef in a way. A decent card here, but as long as it doesn't have Death Touch, it's not really doing a whole lot.
There is one dress down in the hand of Victor.
He's waiting for an opportune moment. He could have fired it off last turn, but I like being patient on that one.
Yeah, it can probably get you a really good exchange later on.
Yeah.
All right, getting into the red zone, putting the clock on, Simon down to 18. And now...
Man, these mana bases are just incredible. Look at this. Triumph, Abundant Growth.
Yeah.
Simon has a Cavern, a Stomping Ground, and a Hallowed Fountain. You don't see those lands often together, at least in the environment I play usually. So this just searches for basic.
Yeah, traverse the Overmount. But that's exactly what Victor needs. I don't think there's any other land hiding out in his hand.
Okay.
So now...
Oh yeah, the pleasure of searching in an 80 card deck.
Yeah. That's certainly fun.
I must also say, this has been a long day, a long tournament. This is the finals. It is quite hot here in Berlin. The players are under harsh conditions.
Yeah, they certainly are.
And a prismatic ending. Oh, okay. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, paying 3 for a threat that costs 3 mana and generated a free card is not the best feeling. As Simon picks up some insurance against counterspells in the form of Mystical Dispute, and now, yeah, Simon's value train starts rolling as there will be an Omnath, and I think there will be a fetch land to accompany it.
Yeah, I wonder if Viktor will regret what he did here, because that dress down
would have come in handy right here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And now Simon gets the first Omnath on the board with a fetch land. Yep. That is a huge tempo swing in his favor. This Omnath card, truly a monster.
So, basically paying for itself with a single fetch land already.
Yeah.
Simon down to 16 even off the fetch, right? Now generating 4 mana, 5th mana off the island that he got. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like whatever he plays right now might heavily determine how this game goes, because now is the spot where Viktor is tapped out, right? Everything he deploys right now, Viktor has to deal with during a future turn, and everything that generates value, generates that value for sure. Which, for example, this Fable of the Mirror Breaker is certainly going to be a 2-for-1 at the very least. That Omnath already paid for itself card-wise. Simon really pulled ahead this turn, and he also put enough stuff on the board that Viktor can't just go like, all right, sure, that's stuff on the board, I will not care about it. No, you have to care about that Goblin token. It's going to create a treasure every turn. You have to care about that Omnath, otherwise it's going to trigger its ability.
Yeah, and Simon really is in this spot where he has the best of both worlds. On the one hand, he's winning the fair fight. But on the other hand, he also has a combo in his deck that Viktor has to worry about. All of a sudden, Simon could just glimpse even at instant speed with Violent Outburst.
Yeah.
So he's winning the fair fight, Viktor is falling behind, and he can, if Viktor tries to catch up with like a Solitude or something like a Verdict, boom, glimpse, and off you go.
Funnily enough, that kind of pressure of a hidden combo often loses some of its value when you're really pressuring your opponent, because your opponent at some point gets to a point where they cannot respect the combo anymore because they're so far behind in the fair fight, right? So they're just like, all right, I guess I'll lose to your combo. And then if you don't have it, you're actually far behind because like they were like, okay, I'm gonna not respect your combo. You didn't have it, so now my verdict actually caught me up or something like that, right? But Simon's still far ahead in the fair fight here, with another Omnath coming down next turn, Fable of the Mirror Breaker providing card quality.
I mean, Viktor choosing to not respect the combo at all here. Is there a Force of Negation in his hand? Is there an Endurance? No, I mean, there's nothing he can do, right? So if Simon finds Violent Outburst here, he could go crazy and win the game on the spot. Viktor choosing to rather... I mean, he's so behind here. He has to Solitude the Omnath to not lose the fair fight, and now the opportunity opens for Simon to just combo him out potentially if he finds.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I just mentioned, where Viktor is far enough behind that he cannot care about the combo anymore. That's a combo piece, but that's not the combo piece you want to draw. That's the one you want to cascade into.
I must say, Simon really, I would have liked to see a double discard there. Discard the Endurance. I don't think it's that important, because this is really the turn where you can go for it.
Once again, it feels like you got Viktor into a spot where, he had to tap out. So this is the turn you get to do your awesome things. But
I mean, on the other hand, I can also see keeping the Endurance. There's a stacked graveyard over there. And Simon probably thinking right now to himself, I'll just play this Omnath, deploy more to the board, and I'm just going to pull ahead with these Fables, these Omnath triggers. I don't need the combo this game.
Yeah, not necessarily. And there's no farewell in Viktor's deck, as far as I'm aware. So
farewell, yeah.
That would be an answer. But right now, like the kind of game plan that we see of Omnath into Fable of the Mirror Breaker just, creates a solid threat on the board.
Simon just drew a Violent Outburst.
So he did.
Okay.
Do you think he's gonna go for it this turn?
I hope so. Come on, Simon. Give us the finals win with Violent Outburst here going off. He gotta do it. Please.
He even has another endurance in hand, so maybe if he can evoke that, he can get an extra permanent.
I think what he can...
He can respond to the evoke trigger, right?
Yes, that is true. He can also, with the 6 mana, he has 4 mana floating, 2 in play, and a treasure. So he can just Fable here, get 2 more permanents, and then Outburst. And still have a Mystical Dispute up.
Yeah.
We know there's no Force of Negation. But still. I mean, the players have open deck lists as well. It's just all... What? Oh, Simon just doesn't want to do it.
Simon doesn't want to give the people the things they want to see.
Damn it, Simon. Why? I mean, I honestly am a little clueless. Why is he not going for it?
I think it's a case of, I'm so far ahead, I don't care. I will pull this emergency switch when it gets to it. Like, I don't know, maybe my opponent casts something that I'm worried about.
A verdict.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's not a good idea. You don't do it in response to a verdict, do you? Maybe.
Not sure. Maybe it's a good idea.
Because you get so much mana. Yeah. Especially with like, this is 12 permanents. I mean, he's gonna find Risen Reef, he's gonna find Omnath. I mean, he could technically fizzle. He could technically hit 10 lands and like...
I mean, that's what he's saying, right? Yeah. Like, I'm so far ahead, I don't need to spin the wheel. I'll just do it regularly.
It's kind of funny.
However, Simon, I'm sorry to say, but you're legally obliged to do this now. Yeah. Like, you're on coverage with this deck. Like,
yeah, we want to see the glimpse. We want to see the slot machine or whatever you want to compare it to. On Magic Online, the trigger fiasco with Simon's deck is
Yeah, when we recorded this week, Simon was playing this deck on Magic Online between recordings. And I walked into the room and he had like 6 minutes left on the clock and like 100 triggers to resolve, and his laptop was like lagging. And I was like, "There's no way you're gonna make this." And he did make it. He made it in the end. Somehow he clicked all of those triggers in time, managed to get there.
Oh my god! Like when you get like 12, 15 Risen Reef triggers, all the Omnaths. Yeah. All right, what's happening here? So expressive duration resolved.
Got a Solitude into hand, I think.
Okay. That's another removal for the Omnath, I suppose. And the dress down is very, very strong against Violent Outburst.
It certainly is.
But Viktor is bottlenecked on mana, so the Mystical Dispute will get him if Simon goes for it.
Yeah, and I mean, the way Simon has played so far, I don't think he'll go for it proactively. Because, I mean, yeah, Viktor is on 12. There's already 8 damage on the board. Yes, there is a lifelinking Solitude, but that one can be dealt with via Omnath.
Yeah. So Viktor kept the reactive hand, didn't do much. Simon just played his 2-for-1s that accrued value, these goblin tokens, making treasures, these fables, the Omnaths. Yeah. You can't be too reactive.
That's what Viktor is trying to do. So what's this? This is 2 mana.
This is a
upkeep, dress down. Mystical Dispute. And now Simon knows the coast is kind of clear, right?
That smirk on Simon's face when he played that. And Viktor just... Yep.
Yep, that's a fetch land.
Now we have another Fable trigger. Cycle away this glimpse. Alright, Simon is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and now there's a Risen Reef, a fetch land. Fetch land's gonna generate another 4 mana from Omnath. So that means Simon this turn has access to a total of 10 mana, not even including treasure tokens so far.
Come on, Simon. Do it for the cover. Do it for us. Let's have like, how many can you do? 16, 18, your entire deck. Go infinite. Oh. Let's see what he does. I mean, he can have it always by now. He's winning the fair fight.
He's winning the combo fight. All right, he's heading into the red zone, most importantly. Both goblin tokens, of course, gonna create an additional treasure token, so that adds up to a total of 14 permanents on the board right now, not even including the land drop that Simon hasn't made yet. So that's the land drop.
Yeah.
Simon, do it. Simon. Pull the trigger. All right, first things first, we're going to cast a Risen Reef because that might guarantee more permanents on the board.
Yeah.
No land to be found, but all right, here we go.
Finally. He's going to fetch, and Viktor has a response.
All right, that's Solitude on the Omnath.
That's fair.
So now, oh, yes. Simon, do it in response, because that way you just shuffle away that target of the Solitude, get an extra permanent. I mean, you don't get the fetch permanent, the land, right?
You would get, but then that will trigger another Omnath that you find, perhaps.
Oh yeah, right. You can trigger the future Omnath. Future Omnath with the fetch that's already on the stack.
I lean towards doing what you just described, because Simon already has an Omnath in exile. If he puts another one in exile,
yeah, there's
that makes
only
his
two.
Glimpse worse.
Yeah, there's two now.
Two in the deck.
I would have
gone for it. I think he's valuing those treasures. Maybe he doesn't want them to.
Yeah, true.
But on the other hand, it's equal amount, right? Like you sack a treasure.
This way you get the permanent that is the land that you fetch.
Oh right, he gets another one. I see.
So this is technically one more permanent.
Interesting. Okay. Simon knows what he's doing. He's played this deck a ton. So let's see it. Come on.
All right. So now, of course, with the Solitude, Omnath did not generate 4 mana.
Yeah.
But instead, we're gonna shuffle it up.
All right.
Shardless Agent being cast. Let's see what hits off the Cascade. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Could even be boat, but I assume it's a Glimpse of Tomorrow.
All right. How much? 6, 10, 15 permanents I'm counting here.
All right. 15 permanents to be reshuffled into the deck. Now keep in mind this does leave Simon without any treasures. There is a theoretical thing where he might fizzle. I'm not saying that's likely.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's like below 1% most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It could happen. Viktor is leaning back. He's smiling.
He's enjoying the show. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And now, importantly, if Simon hits both of his remaining Omnaths and 3 lands, Viktor is just dead. That's it.
Yes.
2 Omnaths, 3 lands.
Yes.
That's a champion we have for today. So let's keep track of that as we reveal those cards.
15. And there we go.
Risen Reef, Fable, Mystical Dispute doesn't double Risen Reef, Endurance, Subtlety, not a single Omnath.
Magic Online going crazy.
Yeah, Magic Online going crazy. So how many Risen Reef triggers is this? Most importantly, there's no Omnath.
Yeah, this is gonna draw Simon 8 additional cards. With 4 elementals entering the battlefield.
Yeah.
And he has a Violent Outburst in hand.
Oh, he does.
And he has an Endurance.
Of course he oh my goodness.
2 more triggers from the Endurance. That is shuffling the graveyard back into your deck.
Yeah.
And then he can do it all over again. Which, as you can see, is going to be like 25 permanents. I don't know how much this is, but...
It's going to be an absurd amount. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because the County Guard even generated additional permanents, as did the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So we're going to spin the wheel again, but this time with more oomph.
Yeah. So triggers of Risen Reef are resolving. This is gonna... Yeah, I mean, Simon has it.
Yeah.
This is it. He's going to find his entire deck. And then he's going to find...
Oh, wait, but what happens? Can he keep going? Oh, no, and of course, he shuffled in his graveyard. I was worried, what if Simon draws all of his glimpses? There's no easy way for him to get them out of his hand, unless by passing the turn, you know?
Yeah.
But he has the Endurance in place, so he will shuffle that glimpse he just had into his deck. So now, it's time to do it all again.
Absolutely. Simon taking a fetch.
I mean, yeah, life total is not his worry here with plenty of Omnath life gaining going on.
Absolutely.
There is even a basic to be found.
This is ridiculous. 3, 7, let me do a count. 9, 12, 16, 22 permanents as of right now. He's going to play another Risen Reef, I assume. That will add up to at least 23. And yeah. This is Glimpse Elementals. Is this a new top deck in Modern? Or is this just a homebrew? What do you say? Simon Nielsen thinks it's pretty good, I believe.
Yeah,
One there.
I do think that's what he thinks. Now, there is an Evoke trigger on the stack. That Fury will have to get sacrificed in a second. Unless something happens before the trigger resolves. Alright. First thing that happens before the trigger resolves is another Endurance. But that one also has to get sacrificed at some point.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for Simon here. So many sacrificed creatures. Now, let's see. What else could happen before that trigger resolves? We'll find out in a second. 3 mana being tapped, I think. No, Simon, that's not going to do it. 5 mana?
Oh, he's floating.
Oh yeah, he's floating a bunch. 2 mana floating afterwards. Violent Outburst in response to the sack triggers. Who could have seen that one coming? And yeah, now we're just going through the motions here, as these permanents are probably enough to flip over Simon's entire deck. And in that deck are 2 Omnaths.
Yeah.
Now, what does that conclude to?
I mean, even if his deck is not big enough, even if he doesn't find both Omnaths here, because I think in the end he can do this over and over again. So at some point he's going to kill the opponent. And yeah, Viktor at 8 life will die to that. And even if Viktor would be at 16 life or at 24 life, Simon could just over and over do this again, shuffling the Glimpse back at his graveyard, drawing the Violent Outburst again, and killing, like just recycling essentially these Omnaths and triggering over and over again.
Exactly.
It is a pretty crazy deck.
It is. Now, of course, the effectiveness of this loop is a bit hindered by the fact that 2 Omnaths are exiled.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't prevent Simon from going infinite. So, Simon will get there in the end. Also, he won't reveal his whole entire deck because the permanents that are leaving the battlefield also got shuffled back in, so some of them will just re-enter.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 Omnaths.
There's 2 Omnaths, and that's enough lands, and that's enough damage to put Viktor to exactly 0, and Simon finishing it off with a huge kind of motion.
He did it! Look at the champion! Look at his smile. He's a happy man. It's been a long day. Congratulations to Simon Nielsen.
Yeah, Simon Nielsen taking it down today, as we will take it back to the booth.
I mean, I know the feeling of winning a tournament. Simon looks very, very happy. It's after a long day of matches, getting that ecstatic final match win is,
Yeah, it is a great feeling, right? It's so relieving because like you finally get all that pressure off the entire day. It just falls off of you, and Simon did so in an amazing fashion. Like if you go back through the videos, we'll upload all of these matches to YouTube. The matches he played were intense. And they were crazy.
He played this deck masterfully. This is a new deck he brought to the tournament, surprised everybody with it, and now took home the trophy of Matteo's Monday Showdown. What an excellent proof of work here.
It really is. Like, especially because he put so much effort into this deck. It must be so rewarding. With that being said, that concludes Matteo's Monday.
Let's go! I'm not.
Here you see.
Look at the chat.
Here you see Simon celebrating. Do you have any final words, Simon?
Yeah! Both limbs. Oh, this thing is so much fun.
Yeah, good job.
Oh wait, yeah, Simon, come here. We'll give you the trophy.
Should I hold on?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay,
We'll get Simon mic'd up real quick here.
It was a pleasure, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Arne.
Yeah.
And hello, Simon.
Hello.
This is the trophy for the champion of Matteo's Modern Mondays Showdown.
It's very impressive.
It is. It looks great, in my opinion. Look at that. Mm-hmm. And it's my pleasure to.
It will have my name engraved on it, apparently.
It will. And it will also have a little typo on the thing corrected.
Yeah!
Because it's not Spielfilm Music, it's Spielfilm Musik, like in German.
Mm-hmm.
But it will have all of that
And
corrected.
That is great. I'll just leave all my fingerprints on it so that we make sure it's mine.
It's perfect. Yeah. So if it gets stolen, they can analyze the fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah.
But one final thing before we end the stream and everything, people want to know more about your deck. Like, just give us a quick rundown on how you built the deck and what was your what was your inspiration and what was your process of building?
I did not build the deck, and I'm so sorry to whoever posted it first on Twitter. But you were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We have had these glimpse deck exist before, where you kill with other stuff. You have other token makers, you had Goblin Dark Dwellers to flashback the glimpses, and that's how you would loot it. But figuring out that Risen Reef, Omnath, and Endurance also does the same thing is absolutely it's so good.
It's ingenious.
Because that way you get to play actual good cards, and you just have a plan B. You saw in game 1 there. I just didn't draw Cascade Spell. Doesn't matter.
We saw it in multiple matches throughout the day where you played the fair game of Omnath dealing full damage to everything and stuff. Make sure to follow Simon on Twitter. He will probably tag the person that originally built the deck.
If I can find them. Yeah. I've seen a few posts on Twitter with iteration of this deck, but there's the person who also put Fable in.
It's Fable, great card. But anyways, we've run out of time. It's fairly late here in Berlin. We've had a very exhausting day. Before we go, one more thing. We have recorded during the past week a bunch of feature match content for Cardmarket's YouTube channel, including with you. We've got some spicy episodes coming up there. Starting next Tuesday, in 9 days, so not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, we'll be live streaming the recording of some future feature match episodes. So if you want to join, you want to ask live questions with us, join in. One of the players that will regularly appear there is Viktor Bunzer, Simon's final opponent here. Make sure to follow us here on Twitch to, catch it when it's live. And also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch the regular.
YouTube channel is so good. It's really good. Seriously, one of some of the best Magic content out there.
That's a very nice
Cardmarket Magic on YouTube.
So, with that being said, we want to thank everyone who was involved in producing this entire thing. There were a bunch of people here that you've never seen on the screen that made this possible. It's nice sitting here in the booth. It's nice being here as a player. But it's all impossible without the work of so many others who are doing the things behind the scenes, behind their computers. Thanks to everyone for hanging out with us because, interacting with chat. Chat gets us on the right track from time to time. And thanks so much to Spielfilm Musik for hosting this. Because without them, once again, this wouldn't have been possible. Not at all. And last but not least, I'd like to thank our players for coming out here and giving us great entertainment to watch. So with that, Simon, congratulations on taking down Mateo's Modern Monday Showdown.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you soon.